Fear. We talk about it as if it's a solid thing, a creature with claws, a shadow with weight. But is fear real? Or is it simply a story we tell ourselves when we don't know what comes next? Today, let's explore fear from a Buddhist point of view, especially the fear that sits at the center of all other fears. The fear of death. Buddhism teaches that fear is born from uncertainty, not from danger, not from death itself, but from the mind's inability to predict what will happen. We fear the unknown because the mind wants control, it wants guarantees, it wants a map, a schedule, a promise. But life does not operate on schedules. Life is a wandering monk. It shows up when it wants, leaves when it wants, and never explains itself. So the mind panics. It fills the silence with stories. What if? What then? What will happen to me? Fear is not the event. Fear is the story. Let's approach the biggest fear of all. Can we stop death for an instant? No. Can we negotiate with it? No. Can we schedule it for a more convenient time? Also no. So what remains? Only the fear of it. And that fear is often far more painful than the event itself. Buddhism says, death is not the problem. The clinging is. We cling to life, to identity, to our roles, to our stories. We cling to the idea that we are something fixed, something permanent. And when life threatens to take that away, the ego trembles. But the trembling is not truth. It's just a habit. I once knew a woman who was 90 years old. A deeply religious woman. A woman who believed in the afterlife, in divine protection, in the continuation of the soul. And yet, she was terrified of death. Terrified. She didn't understand why. She wasn't afraid of what comes after. She wasn't afraid of unpredictability. She wasn't afraid of punishment. One day she told me she finally figured it out. She said, "It's not death I fear. It's what people may say." And then she burst into laughter. At 90 years old, she realized she wasn't afraid of the end of existence. She was afraid of opinions. The fear of judgment. The fear of being misunderstood. The fear of disappointing others. Imagine that, a lifetime of fear, caused by something that has nothing to do with death at all. This is the human condition. We fear shadows. We fear echoes. We fear things we never stop to examine. Her story reveals something profound. We often don't even know what we're afraid of. We spend days, months, years honoring a feeling, feeding it, protecting it, obeying it, without ever asking, fear of what exactly? Buddhism invites us to look directly at fear. Not to fight it, not to suppress it, but to observe it. When you look at fear without running, something strange happens. It dissolves. Because fear is not a monster. It's a misunderstanding. It's the mind trying to protect you from something it cannot name. When you stop running from fear, you discover something unexpected. Fear has no substance. It's a cloud, a mist, a projection. The Buddha compared fear to a rope mistaken for a snake. In the dark, you jump. Your heart races. You panic. But when you turn on the light, it was only a rope. The fear was real. The danger was not. This is how most of our fears operate. From a Buddhist perspective, fear is real as an experience, but not real as a truth. It is a reaction, not a reality, a sensation, not a prophecy, a habit, not a destiny. Fear is the mind's attempt to control what cannot be controlled. And death, the ultimate unknown, becomes the ultimate mirror. But when you look closely, you realize you are not afraid of death. You are afraid of losing control. You are afraid of losing identity. You are afraid of losing the story of you. Yet the story was never permanent to begin with. When you see fear clearly, something extraordinary happens. You stop negotiating with life. You stop bargaining with the future. You stop trying to predict the unpredictable. And in that moment, you become free. Free the way a monk is free. Free the way a child is free. Free the way the 90-year-old woman became free. When she realized her fear was never about death, fear loses its power. When you stop assuming it knows something you don't. So, is fear real? Yes, as a feeling. No, as a truth. Fear is a story. And like any story, it can be rewritten. The next time fear arises, ask it gently. What are you really trying to tell me? You may discover, just like that remarkable woman, that the thing you feared was never that thing at all.